The question is, was he being truthful up there? Was Senator Warren? What does this mean? Anna Kasparian, who backs Senator Bernie Sanders, Angela Rye. Angela, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren told her, I don't think a woman can run. I don't think she can win, rather. Okay? She says that's what he said. He says, I never said that. It would be ludicrous for that to be suggested. Is Elizabeth Warren right to say to him afterwards, you called me a liar on national TV?
Well, it sounds like she said, did you call me a liar on national TV? And
She
that's
said, I think you called me a liar
That's true.
on
You're right.
national
Fact
TV.
check me. Fact check me, moderator. Fact check me. You're right.
Go ahead.
I think the reality of it is it still sounded like a question, right? There was an inflection at the end of her statement, so maybe we can find a middle point there. I think the reality of it is Elizabeth Warren certainly believes that is what she heard in the meeting with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders certainly believes that's not what he said. I think the reality of this is that we are spending a lot of time talking about something that happened. None of us were in the room for. It is horribly unfortunate if Bernie Sanders said this. It is also horribly unfortunate if we continue to spend time on this. It is something they have to personally reconcile. I said this on Don's show the other day, and that is, you know, a few months ago, I did a podcast with Elizabeth Warren, asked her about what distinguishes her from Bernie Sanders, and she refused to answer the question because of their relationship. If they're going to let their relationship not be divided on policy, which is absolutely what the debate stage should be for, it certainly should not be about this conversation, because she joined the race anyway, and we know, as we all have talked about, that Hillary Clinton did win the popular vote.
No
so
question
it's not
about
true
it.
even if he believes
And she whooped Bernie Sanders also. You can argue about the process, but clearly a woman got tons of support both in party and in this country. And also, I agree with your analysis step for step about its importance. Anna, here's why it matters to me. Okay?
Yeah.
Truth.
Can I just note one quick thing?
Go ahead,
I
and then
agree
you can
with a
answer
lot
my
of
question.
what.
Go ahead.
Sure, of course. I agree with a lot of what Angela said, but I also want to just note part of the reason why Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by as much as 3 million votes is because Bernie Sanders campaigned on her behalf, traveling like crazy to campaign on her behalf. Why would he go out of his way to do that if he didn't believe a woman could win as president of the United States?
I think people would say that that's
sense.
a generous assessment of what he did on her
they
behalf.
would.
But look, again, I don't think it's necessarily relevant, Anna. I don't think it's worth going back to that. All I'm saying is this. I don't care if he said to Elizabeth Warren, I don't think a woman can win. I think that you could argue that lots of different ways about why he said it, what he meant, what was the context. I don't really care. I really don't. What I do care about...
Seems like CNN cares a lot. I mean, you guys have been covering it
But here's what I care about. I
nonstop.
care about the truth. The best thing you guys have going as a party, no matter what part of it you are, is Donald Trump lies to you all the time. And we won't lie like that. That's your best argument, I think, person to person. This goes to that. Who's telling the truth? It matters, if only that reason, Anna. Is there not curiosity on your part because of that?
What I'm curious about is why there's absolutely no discussion about his record on what he's done and what he's actually said publicly when it comes to women in positions of power. I mean, back in the 1980s, it wasn't even a popular position to believe that women had a place in politics. But he was out there publicly talking about the importance of including women in politics and encouraging women to run for president. So again, look, we don't know what was said in that room because no one was in there other than Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. The only thing that we can do is a character assessment by looking at his record.
But both things
and
could be
what
true,
I've seen
Anna.
from his
He
record
could have
is
said it,
very
and he could have said
impressive.
these other things. And remember this, I'll tell you what, it's very rare that I hear people say a woman says that this happened, and we're saying we don't know what was said.
I think the
Senator
context,
Elizabeth Warren says she knows what happened.
matters. I think the context matters, and I find it strange that Elizabeth Warren hasn't quoted what he said. All she said is, I think a woman can win. He disagreed with me, but what's the context?
That's fine.
So, look, if we don't know what was
what
said
you
in
said
that
or you
room, I
don't.
think it's weird to keep talking
But
about
all
it.
right, fine. I agree with you both on that point. I want to ask about something else. Angela, when you looked at the stage last night, this aside, and I'm sure it wasn't part of your calculus in making the assessment to this question anyway, you see somebody up there that's definitely going to beat President Trump?
Chris, I have to be honest with you because that is my pledge as a person who has a platform on TV. And I have to be honest with you, that debate stage last night frightened me. It really did. There is a huge void with Kamala Harris out of the race. There is a huge void with Julian Castro out of the race. There's a huge void with Cory Booker out of the race. And I'm not just talking about ensuring that there is the appearance of diversity in a big tent by the Democratic Party. It is also the ways in which our politics are being discussed. And it's frightening. It is not that I am only going to lend my support to a candidate of color, but what I really have a problem with is how that debate stage was formulated. It is a huge party riff with the DNC. Why does that matter about when you talk about the answer to your question? And that is simply this: if there is a rift in the party, I don't know that folks can come together to back one particular candidate, especially when you don't see a whole ton of strength, right? That worries me a great deal, and we have a lot of groundwork to do before this party can beat Donald Trump.
Do me a favor. I'm out of time on this one. Anna, let's do this. You know you're welcome on the show anyway. I love having you on. I love having your perspective on this. Angela, you know that about yourself as well. Let's see how it goes with this votes. We're going to have a couple of town halls coming up with some of the candidates at the top. Let's keep this dialogue going about why you guys feel or don't feel that your party's where it needs to be going into the biggest fight of the new millennium, probably in this election. Thank you both for speaking to what's mattering tonight. Appreciate it.